Hello and howdy to all you YouTubers out there. This video is my final build video on the Les Paul guitar kit I've been working on for a little bit less than a year. Well, I finally got it completely done, and I'm going to go over some things and some tips and some mistakes that I made this time that I need to try not to make next time. Anyway, here we go. Alright, here it is. Got everything put on it. I've already tested it out. Sounds good. I'll make some videos of how the pickups sound and how the guitar sounds overall through my amps and stuff. But let me tell you, the hardest part about these kit guitars or just building the guitar from scratch or whatever is the finish. I had a hard time with the finish, but I think it came out great. But it was a lot of trial and error, let me tell you. If you saw my other videos, I took you through the steps of how I did it and everything. This is just the final, what it looks like after it's all been cleaned. Got the clear coat buffed out real good. Went all the way up to 2,000 grit. And I used automotive clear, the DuPont or whatever. I can't remember what the name of it is. Something, the real brand, the brand that everybody in the automotive industry uses for their clear coats. But I used that on there, buffed it out. One of the mistakes that I made though is I didn't think it would need sanding sealer before I put the clear coat on. And as I put the clear coat on, it took forever to build up. And then I started realizing that it was sinking into the grain since I didn't put the sanding sealer on there. So there's little ridges in here. Even though it looks good, when you rub across it like this, you can feel the little ridges. But I wasn't about to redo it all over again. I like it the way it is. It's unique. But the next one, I'll remember to put the sanding sealer on there. Everything else came out real good, except I put the gold, those are Wilkinson Tuners. See that? Wilkinson's a good brand for good quality product, not that much money. But what I forgot to do is, the way the kit came, if you saw my other videos, the tuning holes, I didn't like the way the tuning holes worked because they were like right in the middle. They were just right in the middle, center like this. But I goofed up on one of them. As you can see, the spacing in here is pretty good. But over here, this one should have been moved out just a hair, because it's too close right here and it's almost hitting, but it doesn't really affect it that much. And I put a new bone nut in there instead of the plastic one. I had to really sand that down and file that down to get it down to where it needed to be. And on the truss rod, whenever they assembled it at the factory or whatever, whoever put the truss rod in probably just used like, an automatic wrench or something and just cranked it down tight. So when I put the strings on there, that neck was so straight and stiff that every note was dead. So I had to really loosen the truss rod almost all the way and go from there and put the relief in it. But I finally got it to where it plays great. And everything else. And then I put this this is a Wilkinson Bridge with rollers on it instead of the factory bridge. And it's got a lot of adjustments in it. It allowed me to get the intonation almost perfect. The only thing is this one needs to go back a little bit farther. It's a little sharp, but everything else tuned up good, and you can't really tell that it's sharp when you play it. It all sounds great. Pickups sound great. And one other tip is I bought some copper shielding tape, and I thought if I just completely surrounded the insides of these, that it would completely ground it and keep it from making any noise and doing good. But once I got all the electronics in, when I first hooked it up, I had no sound whatsoever. and I couldn't figure that out. I had to do a lot of trial and error to figure that out, and I finally realized as I was moving stuff around in there, one of the lugs on my tone pot was rubbing against the copper shielding in there, and it was grounding everything out, and it wouldn't make a single sound. But when I pulled all the pots out and just laid them on top of the guitar and tried it again, everything worked perfectly. So I had to go in there, scrape out all that copper tape that I worked so hard to put in there. But once I got that all out, put it back together, works great. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this, and if you're into guitar building or you want to build a kit, that's great, but be ready. Hope you have a lot of patience. I worked on this thing for a little bit less than a year, especially with the finish. Finish is what took the longest. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Like if you want to. Don't forget to subscribe. So I have a lot more stuff. I'm doing some lessons on there now. I'm going to be using this guitar. My next couple of videos I'll play it so you hear how it sounds. The pickups on it sound really good. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.